Just connecting to the live stream in theory. Okay, we're good. We're live on YouTube as well. Although it's 760 again, resolution. Oh, okay, 1280. Okay, guys, monthly webinar. No email went out to remind people because you either attend or you don't. And it's going live on YouTube anyway. So I thought I'd start with the stocks predator today, and then we'll go and do something else. So interestingly, got quite a few users starting to come in now, and we've got a good forum going um, on the Discord, and we are, we're killing it. Basically, guys, we're killing it. RCL was one that I know quite a few people went in. Just about tips the target yesterday. Really, really good. Where is it going live now? Yeah, what did we get? Very close to the target. Okay. So RCL was one of the ones we did probably in the last webinar. I think Shack was another that we're in. We're in a lot of profit right now. It's going very, very well. Entry, it's just really sort of rocking. And our closed stocks picked of the week so far. Two have closed that I've been doing them 5 or 6 weeks now. Even in notice. So two of them closed, and both of them were winners. So Eaton was the first one where we had full confluence here, came upon the scanner. We went long at this point here. It blew through that daily zone, hit, and then I just took in the forum. I just said $20. Really great trade. Block was phenomenal. It was a lot quicker. Waiting for it to do this. Now, I'm going to take these lines away a minute. I did predict it would do this, and it's doing it right now, the little V here. But I got out because it was a really great trade from down here. It actually blew through that first target, and when it hit the second one at 54, I took profit there. So we're 2 for 2. Current stock picks of the week now. Let's have a look. So the very recent one was FEIM. So this one is more of a long-term investing play. So we got full confluence at this point and took the first position down here. We've hit sort of the center line of the channel and the daily zone, come back down, and my second entry was at this point here, giving me an average holding position at where the white is. And that's how I mark up my charts. Interesting fact, we got in here and then there's a big news announcement, and I put it in my journal here that be added to a member of the broad market Russell 2000, and that's when that happened there. At this point, I've just put I'm going to hold because there's always going to be a reaction to this, but in reality, it's good news. So I'm going to leave that as it is right now. Again, journaling is really important when you're swing trading and investing because these are long term. So Eaton, for example, that was on for 3 weeks. Block was on for 2 weeks. This one's a long-term investment. So once a week or anything particular happens, it's always good to journal what's going on with stocks, trading and investing. FFIV was another one that we have. We had first entry all the way down here. After full confluence with the 5-star buy, the roller coaster, we got in at this point here. We got tipped in at this point here, and that's my average holding position, and that's where we are. Where are we right now? Are we above 290? Oh, we did tip up above 293. So, this is going pretty well. HNST, I don't think this one's even triggered yet. We got a start line, we got the full confluence. It's come back down to test this weekly zone. What I'm looking for now, I haven't cancelled the order yet, but I'm just waiting to see if we get some more confluence on the buy steps heat map because this is really strong weekly zone as it moved up. 518 today, so it is moving back up again. and I'll just keep an eye on that. PRK is the other one that's open stocks trade of the week. In a slight loss-making position right now. I'm okay with that. 160.30. Our entry was at 164.01, so not a lot in a loss at the moment. And then when our RSI, this is one that took quite a while. We got an entry at 1264, but a good week, 10 days, 2 weeks after we put this on. Right now we are looking at 1241, having a little pullback. So this isn't going anywhere. The good thing about stocks trading is, especially these sort of moves, the big candles are mainly earnings and bounces off weekly zones. At this moment in time, it's consolidating. So we could always, take tiny losses, considering we've had some big losses right now. So, we'll keep an eye on that one anyway, and we'll see how that one goes. Currently on my main watch list, so new one came up today, really freaky. I did this work this morning on here. And then I went to the office because I've got a new office here in Dubai for a new project. And I've got the first one guy that's my AI guy. He's joined that team and they got a new guy in there as well. So I was in the office most of the day after I did this morning. But then I know Richard's on this Zoom right now. Richard asked in the forum, what do you think of this? And so it's really freaky that I would do that. So what I've put in the in my journal entry for this is it's had full confluence on the 6-star buy, all 6 time frames green, and we've had that roller coaster there. But there's a weekly zone just up above. So a good entry for this would for me to break $9 above that weekly zone, and that's what I'm looking for on rail. Nice cheap stock as well. Stop really will be the trailing stop, what I've put on here for the roller coaster. So depending on where this entry is, I will just follow this trailing stop as my stop position for this. So if once it breaks there, wherever this is, so at this moment in time, that's where it is right now. I worked out my risk to reward. So the risk reward risks 100% for a potential return of 2.5%. 250%, sorry. So that's a great risk reward, lots of fresh air, double top in that weekly zone there. So really, really strong looking potential with rail there. What's it doing live at the moment? We did tip higher today at 8.45, but again, we've got to be patient and wait for it to go through. Coca-Cola, not really interested in this. I think I'm going to take this off because it's near the all-time highs on this weekly time zone. So I'm not really interested. I'm going to remove KO from my main watch list as well. Let's go now to the 3 confluence bull and show you where that came from today. So out of 4,891 stocks scanned overnight, there were only 4 in confluence. Confluence is very important. We've seen since we launched this brand new version of the Stocks Predator, confluence is key. Every stock pick I've made so far that's closed has been a winner. Not just those 2 stocks picks of the week, RCL, Shack, there's plenty more. The guys that are using it and sharing in the forum are winning because you need to be patient and wait. Do your due diligence once this is on. Rail was one of the ones that came on the scan. Hence, that's why Richard asked in the forum, what do you think? Made the chart up and did, so now, let's look at RBBN and go through the process that we would go through once we get that confluence from there. Nice cheap stock again. It actually reversed from those highs yesterday. Don't like that price action at all. Don't know what it's doing live at the moment. It's going down. That's not an interest to me. So EPRT was the next one. So it's got good confluence. We need to go to the weekly. The first point of call when we go on one of these is go to the weekly and see where those zones are. Right now, we've got a pivot here and it actually encompasses all this, okay? If we can break those, we've got a bit of room, but we haven't got a lot. We've got those all-time highs up there. So now we go back to the daily. There's not a great deal of room there, guys. We'd have to be very, very tight with our stop. Not to say it isn't a great looking trade, but you've got to mitigate the risk when you put something together like this. So let's just work out that risk reward. So in reality, my stop would be just below here at 32.47, very, very tight. Okay. And then my entry around 30, it's got to be over the $4 mark, 33.12. Okay. So that's my stop and my entry. Simple tool we use to work risk reward out is we use the fib trend base extension. Okay, so first click is on the stop, second click is on the entry, bring it along, third click on the entry. My risk reward is over 1 to 1.6. It's not bad, but the takeaway from this is you've got to be prepared to take that loss at that tight stop. So if you are prepared to lose at that point, and that's in reality, let's have a look at that loss as a percentage of the price of the stock. Okay, that's around 1.92%. So buy $1,000 worth of stock, you'll lose 1.92%. In reality, the reward to the next zone is 3.7%. For me, that's a pretty good risk reward. Okay. So, you know, buy $1,000 worth of that stock, you're potentially losing no more than a couple $100, but you could win at $370. Make the maths very simple there. So that's not a bad potential there. It's very scrappy. It's got a breakthrough here. It's not been above that point since December 2024. It's tried once, it's tried twice, it's trying again. Third time's a charm. Don't believe in charm. I believe in technical analysis. But at some stage, some of you probably done the volume trading training. Imagine this here as a glass window. At the moment, people were throwing pebbles at this and it didn't break. It came back down again, people were throwing pebbles again. It didn't break. What needs it to break is more people throwing pebbles at that window and occasionally some big pebbles going in, even some rocks. That's volume. If that happens, I want to be ready with a very tight stop because this has acted as resistance before. There's no reason why it can't act as support if it breaks through. So this 33.12 entry, actually quite like this. So I'm actually going to put my journal together now just to show you how it works. Okay, so I just want to put in those two tests. So if I go to my journal tab here, I'm going to take a screenshot of the chart. Okay. So just, you know, I'm just going to write what I talked about. Two tests of weekly resistance, more volume needed to push through. Sensible entry, 33.12. So I'm going to go stock market buy 33.12 with stop tight at 32.51. My risk to reward is 1 to 1.8, which is fine for me. I made that journal. I can close that now. And then obviously if I click on there again, there it is. And I can add to it if I want to in the future on another day. Okay, so I actually quite like that and rail right now from the scan from yesterday. BLND is the final one. That's took forever to get where it needs to get. Very cheap stock. It does move. You've got to look at previous confluences here. Roller coaster, 6-star buy, all 6 timeframes green, boom. But that happened within 4 candles. This has been 30. Okay, it's not the same amount of pebbles being thrown. Okay, so it's not similar behavior. So I'm not going to trade. So I'm actually going to put, I'm going to add that to my main watch list as well. Okay, so just going to take that off. Okay, any questions on this before we move on and I look at NinjaTrader and ASBs? So that's the xBrat Stocks Predator. So what I'm going to do is put in the link for this. I'm going to put it in the chat on Restream, and I'm going to put it in the chat in here in Zoom. Okay. Very, very good tool, and you're not alone. The point of this is you've got an extremely powerful scanner and tool. We are actually now reversing the next level. We're going to be putting other indicators on here like Elliott wave and harmonics and all that sort of stuff. The conversion to Elliott waves just started now. And we have the forum in the Discord group where people are sharing ideas. I'm chirping in. I'm sharing my posts on my journals with the entries and everything like that. So it's more a community we're trying to build. But again, this me chirping in is teaching people. I've been doing this for nearly 30 years. I can see things straight away, but I like to share and I like to teach. So hence the reason for that. So no questions so far. That's good. So what I'm going to do is we are going to bring over, let's bring over the VWAP Predator. So let's move that down. Just make sure you can see that. Okay. So I'm just going to go 3-minute on here. Okay, so you should, in theory, be able to see the NinjaTrader chart with gold futures on. Please let me know in the chat if you can see that, because on the live stream, it's still showing. Yeah, 3-minute. Good. Okay. I think the live stream's a little bit behind. So I want to talk about finding the groove. Okay, so it's important to understand when you're finding the groove, in other words, finding the right time frame to trade off. Okay, finding the groove is no matter what strategy you are trading, whether you're scalping, which in these current markets is almost suicidal, day trading, intraday trading. By that I mean something like 10-minute, 12, 15-minute time frame. Short-term swing trading on 30 minutes, maybe up to 60, and then obviously those. But this is a day trading type of strategy. And what I want to do is I want to go through just doing some measurements, just some quick measurements to see how this behaves and what times of the day it behaves. So again, with gold, it's traded 23 hours a day. There are lots of opportunities to trade gold. It's how we do that to make good profits. So what I want to do is just want to go through. I'm going to go backwards a little bit purely because, bear with me a second. Why has this gone all funny? So just bear with me. I'm going to stop share and share again. Looks like in the restream, it will not change. Good to know. Okay. Right. Let's go through this here. I'm going to go back to 5 minute. In fact, yeah, let's do VWAP Predator for 10 minutes and then we'll do roller coaster. I want to show you something on roller coaster, which is pretty cool. Okay, so VWAP Predator. The important thing to think about VWAP Predator is it's a momentum indicator. So it looks for momentum to build and then you will find big moves, okay? When you get that increase in volume, which straddles a VWAP or a VWAP extension, the open and the close, you get those signals. And it's an identifier of increased momentum, both to the up and the downside. One thing to remember is, though, it does reset on the market close and then the market open, and then we start all narrow and close again. That it's very crucial to understand that trading it during this narrow period can be very, very difficult. You must use the bias depth heat map for confirmation. You must use the Guardian zones or any other support and resistance zones for your fresh air. If you've got no fresh air to trade into, this is right in the middle of that zone right there. You've got to be very, very careful. So I'll talk about this trade later on, but I want to show you one of the reasons why I would. So this, I wouldn't take this single one here, okay? I wouldn't take it because it's on its own, okay? It's what we call a one candle wonder, yeah? It's not far after the market reopened. Gold is a bit quiet. Got to wait for Asia to come in, really. Now, we get individual sells. We've got no confirmation. We've got an individual sell there. Now, we get a buy signal here. All 6 time frames are green. I'm not going to go on the first, but when I get a second, I cannot ignore it. This is what we call accumulation. So the previous candle had more volume. The first buy signal here had more volume than the previous candle. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a signal. I wrote the logic. Okay. The next candle has even more volume, produces another buy signal. Okay. So we're accumulating more buyers. Okay. This thing's going to move. An entry just above this rejection pivot here on the left where the sell is around about 33,335.8 is the sensible play here. Okay. Now, in fact, it's easier for me to just copy and paste that. So I'm going to go just above there at say 3336. Really simple. Where's my stop going to be? I'm going to zoom in for this for those VWAP Predator users. When, or my rule is before the European Open, okay, which is the European Gold Pit Open is 2 a.m. and the London Stock Exchange is 3 a.m. EST. I always have my charts on EST. Before that time, I always use the previous pivot for my stop because these bands of the VWAP, the VWAP's in the middle of the blue, are too close together and you'll get tipped out. Okay. So my previous pivot is here. That's my stop. I'm going to work out my risk to reward. Stop. Entry. And 1 to 1.6 just into that 30-minute zone. I'm happy. I've got signal. My confluence of signals gives me another signal straight away. Yeah. It doesn't go in straight away. All 6 timeframes are green on my bias tech heat map. I get a third signal which tips me into the trade. Very happy. Take the trade all the way to the 30-minute zone, and you've got a decision to make. Do I stay in? The gold pit open is at 2 a.m. You're just approaching the 30-minute time frame. Okay. You have on this particular trade, at that sort of time, 130 ticks. I want a little bit of a poll here, guys. Who would take the 130 tick profit at that point? No right or wrong answer. I just want to know in the Zoom, who would take the 130 tick profit? Partial, good. Still green would hold. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Otis, take profit. Nothing wrong with that. We're gold. That's $1,300 profit. Vincent Lee, yes. Take the profit. There's no wrong answer. There's nothing wrong with $1,300 profit. Okay. So there's 2 scenarios here. Take the profit. See if it bounces down. If it does, there's no other trade. If it pushes through in this situation here, there is an opportunity to get in again. Okay. Now, the band here on the VWAP Predator remains green. The bias depth heat map is all green. You could go to you start to use now, because we're through this. I want to, whether you can see these bands clearly. This band is very clear, this green one. We're above the final extension band. And then this band here is the next one down, and then that is the VWAP Predator. Remember, after 2 a.m. EST, I'm more inclined to go one band back. So if I push through this particular band here, which I am through, I would trail it every candle close on this band. Can you see that there? Okay. So I'm looking at the behavior. I'm understanding how the VWAP Predator works. I understand the time of the day. There's more traders coming on for the European Gold Pit Open. European traders are coming on. This move was made by Asian traders. Now, European traders, if they see that this momentum is strong, they'll start to buy. And they did. I'm not saying it won't turn around, but you've got some indications here. The sensible strategy for me, none of you are wrong, okay? The sensible strategy for me is my band, my cloud, if you like, my ribbon is still green, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my stop. I'm going to put this, I'm just going to copy and paste this, otherwise NinjaTrader will slow down. So when we get to 2 a.m. at this point here, that's that first band, my second band. So I'm going to put that left edge where my stop is. Okay, so at this point, not locking in a great deal of profit here. Let's have a look. So I'm locking in 42 ticks, okay? 42 ticks. But my bias tech heat map's telling me we're very bullish on multiple timeframes. I know I'm going into the 30-minute time frame, but I know, because I'm a trader and I understand when the gold pit open and there's more volume coming in, there's more pebbles being thrown at that than there could have been down here. because there's a lot more traders during the European morning that trade gold. Eventually, it does push through. Now, this is the conundrum that you're in. If you've got enough margin and you get a buy signal here, you get and you add a contract at that point. Okay, very, very important. Remember, you're adding a contract, one contract here, one contract there. So your average holding position is about halfway. Okay, you agree. Your average holding position is roughly 3346.8. Okay, let's paste another one in. 33, where are we? Halfway there. Okay, let's see if I can change this color without slowing things down. Okay, I just want to change it to white. No matter what chart I have, if it's an average holding position, I will mark it in white. Apply. Now, gold positions for this, for adding a second contract, you would need around about $20,000 in your account for margin. Okay. One contract you could probably get away with 8, but your intraday margin and everything else all starts to stack up. So you could do this on MGC. Today I shared a trade on the Discord group where I had 2 contracts. That margin at that time of day for copper, 2 contracts, was $24,000. Okay. So, and it's never set in stone, believe you me. So let's get rid of that. So we've got an average holding position there. So it's very important to understand the risk for this average holding position and where you're trailing your stop, how soon you'll become risk-free. Yeah. Because risk-free now isn't that original stop, it's above here. So again, at this point, this is where our stop is for this second contract. Okay. So the risk for the 2 contracts at that point is 19 ticks, $400, because it's 2 contracts. Okay. That's potentially a very low risk for quite a big reward. Okay. So we're going through, we get another one, but that's too far away. If you're going to add a contract, it has to be at a point of control. So it has to be breaking through a resistance zone, okay? Or they have to be almost next to each other, 1 or 2 candles. In this case, it broke through the resistance zone. I know why it broke through the resistance zone, because more traders came in because the gold pit open. Yeah. So, and then eventually we get, we top out, we start to come back down, and the ribbon turns red at this point here. So now I measured my reward from our average holding position to the red, to it going red. That's 316 ticks times 2. 632 ticks. Yeah. $6,320 on gold for a $20,000 margin. That is a really great trade. I'm not saying they don't happen every day, but this happens once a week, twice a week. You just got to be ready for it, because the VWAP Predator spots momentum. Having the VWAP Predator with the bi-stepped heat map and the Guardian zones is just a really cool set of tools for momentum traders. Really, really strong. We have a lot of technology in this, but it makes it simple. Just colors in the candle, says buy or sell. Okay, really, really simple. So any questions on that? It took me 15 minutes to explain a strategy that when I traded this type of strategy manually before technology, it just took too long. The idea was there, but to actually execute it, you'd need to look at the volume charts underneath, and you'd need to understand accumulation, distribution. It's just really, really difficult to trade without technology. Okay, no questions on that. That was simple. Oh, yeah, so this here again, this is where Richard, I know you've got the automated strategy builder for this. You know, these are sort of things that would be taken by that. But this trade on its own, this is at 8:20 a.m. Okay, in the morning. Okay, when I lived in the UK, I was up 6:30, get pre-market. So this trade is available. Okay, for UK based people. Yes, these ones are not. That can be picked up with the automated strategy builder. But there's always a lot of movement around the European Gold Pit Open and the London Open as well. So if we go to the next day, scrunch out a little bit. Okay, so where are we? That's a Sunday. There's the 2 a.m. move. It flattened out. There was no data. Okay. And like I said, it doesn't happen every single day. Look, yeah. Gold can be pretty flat. We had a good move today. That was a really good move, actually. Yes, yes, Richard. Yeah, more optimization. It will help you with your manual trading as well. Okay. Right. So let me pull up this. Okay. So I actually don't. I wonder if they've been changed. The teams changed these on the dev ones. So bear with me a second. I think that's the one. In theory, this chart should be a black background. In theory, just let it load up a second. It's a bit slow because we've got a lot of work going off on here. Yeah. So, no, it didn't change. Right. Oh, it has, yeah. Okay. So confluence. The first part of confluence is finding the groove for the roller coaster. So I'm not going to talk about the confluence strategy today. I'm just going to go about, it's all about finding the groove for the right time frame. So the guys have done some work on this today. So we have a black box AI for confluence for a new project that we're developing. And the 30-minute on the roller coaster, as you can see, is massive. Okay. This only took 6 trades in 30 days. Every single one of them was a winner. Okay. Because of the confluence. Yes. Now, confluence means that we build in other indicators to sort of give us that confidence in momentum in a certain direction. So our anchor strategy is always roller coaster. Then the xBrat algo is our next bit of confluence. Then we have the VWAP predator and the bias depth heat map. So you can imagine a river flowing reasonably slow, okay? All of a sudden a tributary starts to feed in the xBrat algo in that and increases that directional flow. And then we can see from the bias depth heat map that we're going down, and then all of a sudden we get another tributary feeding in, increasing that directional flow to certain direction, and that's the VWAP predator. Always, though, the first point of call should be with the roller coaster. So the roller coaster, even in this situation here, without confluence, every time you see a red line, that means it's a profitable trade, and that is the trailing stop. Okay. That's a loser. It's a small loser compared to this winner. Okay. Winner, winner. Didn't even go through the start line. Break even. Didn't even go through start line. Winner, winner, winner. Loser, winner, 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 winner. Okay. Winner, winner, winner. It's in a, it sounds a bit silly, but I'm in the groove. Okay. Yes, we have technology to find that groove, but that technology came from my brain. Believe it or not, it is starting to suffer a little bit because my RAM is full. Um, but it doesn't take a lot of brains to figure out that the 30-minute time frame on Litecoin USD for the roller coaster is in the groove. Yeah. How we then supplement that with the xBrat algo on a different time frame, and I'll show you now. That's on the 14-minute, the 3-minute on the VWAP Predator, the 5-minute on here. How that all combines, that's quite difficult to do unless you're prepared to learn. But the one thing I wanted to really show you was the power of finding the groove. The easiest way to do that is with the roller coaster because it's very visual. You see that here, 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 here. I'm not going to play with these charts because this is the dev charts for the guys to do all the measurements and everything. So I'm just going to close that down now so I don't sort of interrupt anything. But it doesn't matter what you're trading. Roller coaster is very, very powerful. So what I'm going to do, we've got time. I am going to take off the VWAP Predator. I am going to add the roller coaster. Stop EMA and leave on 21 for now. 34 could be quite good as well. And I'm going to leave the rest on. Okay. And once it's finished calculating, I need to change to Heikin-Ashi. So what I'm going to do is on the data series, I'm going to go to Heikin-Ashi. All it does is smooth out price action a little bit. And I'm going to go 14-minute. Go 30 days for this. That'll be fine. Is that in the groove? Not bad. I mean, winner, 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 loser. Didn't go through the start line. You see how the green line here stops after so many candles? That's the setting that we have. If that stops and it's not broken, don't enter the trade. Simple rules, okay? Here, didn't do it. Winner, didn't break. It stopped printing. Little loser, winner. Little loser, winner. 14-minute is not bad. Let me just, I want to get rid of all the drawings. Oh, it doesn't let me on here, does it? I'm trading view too long. So 14-minute isn't bad. And one of the things to measure with this is the average risk. Okay, so when we look at risk, it's from the entry to the stop. Okay, 194 ticks. It's quite large. Yeah. And I would say that's probably about average. Just measure one more. No, that can't be right. That's not 163 ticks. Just wait a few more weeks because we've got a big update coming out on the ASBs, Otis. I would wait until that comes out. I just want to test the new ASBs on there. Um, so what we want to do is, so Otis asked he'd want to update 28.1.5.0. We've got massive updates and Otis is a user of the ASB, so I just want to wait. So what I want to do now is going to go to data series. I'm going to go down to 5 minute. So it's not just about being in the groove. It's about being in the groove at certain times of the day. It's about understanding where those max risks are. So on a 5 minute, our average risk, I would say, is about there. About 94, it's about the same. Is that Y value right? Doesn't look right to me. Let's look at the properties. Yeah, okay. There's more losers with this. The smaller time frames you go on, sometimes you get more losers. There's some good winners on here. One of the things when you're looking for the groove is what times of day do we have winners? So, we're talking midnight EST through the European Open, then we're pre-market US. What time's this? Midnight again seems to be quite relevant here. Again, this is the market open. But I don't. This one again coming up to midnight. Midnight trades, guys. On gold, on the roller coaster, on the 5 minute Ikenashi, midnight EST seems to be in the groove. I've just gone through 5 days, and 4 of those 5 days. Yes, so on YouTube, so you can use the VWAP Predator, the bias depth heat map, the roller coaster, the xBrat algo, all on TradingView. So the one I showed you earlier, that's how we trade Confluence. VWAP Predator top left, roller coaster, the bottom right and the center, xBrat algo on the right, and this is here. All of those are available on our website for TradingView. Okay, let me just put that in the chat in Restream. Get to the products one. So yes, this setup here for Confluence, very, very strong. And I do know even some of our Think or Swim users are using this Confluence strategy. So there is a bundle down there if you go down to the bottom of the products page. Okay, I'll put that in there. Yeah. So at the bottom of the bundles page, bottom of the bundles page, you can tell it's nearly 9 p.m. here. Bottom of the products page, new website, by the way, guys, looks great. Love it. Is a bundle, okay? Confluence trading bundle. xBrat algo, VWAP Predator, buy step heat map. And so good bundle offer there as well. Okay, where was I? What I wanted to do though, I just want to go down and so today, gold. Yeah, let's measure what was won and what was lost. And I think that's important, really, because that will help you when you're starting to pull your data. So we're 62 down to the trailing stop, 104. So I'm going to do these maths. Minus 62 plus 104 plus 13. plus 30. I was a winner. Plus 153. Come on. 153, 257, 287, 300. Take away 62, 238 ticks. I beat you all to it. So today, 5 minute hike in ASCII, GC, 238 ticks profit. One contract, $2,380 profit. Yeah, very, very simple. Obviously, with Confluence, we do make a bit more, but again, you've got to start somewhere. Roller coaster is not a bad, well, not a bad starting point. Um, Also, I think to be aware that crypto these days is very, very tradable. Okay. It is, you can trade long and short. Again, this is another Confluence play for this short here. Okay. So I'll talk you through, this is some of our dev lines. So you'll see the red dot in between this purple, that is our roller coaster signal for a short. The xBrat algo is the purple hashed line. The yellow line is the VWAP predator. The red hashed line is when the roller coaster breaks that start line. So that's our entry, full confluence here. And look at that move all the way down there. Okay, massive. Works on longs as well. You'll see if we just go to that trade on a smaller time frame, 30th of May. Because that's 29 minutes, believe it or not, that's in the groove right now. You will see a difference as they come in on Confluence. And all you got to do is be patient and wait, watch, and then go. 30th of May. Come on, 30th of May. Where are you? There we go. So you'll see here the actual roller coaster came in 5 minutes before the xBrat algo. The actual VWAP predator and the cross line was at the same time. But that's how Confluence works. Very, very, very strong. You need to concentrate. That's the thing. And you only need to take trades when you get the Confluence. Do not take trades any other time. We have, on average, with crypto, a 91% win rate with Confluence on all of these 10 cryptos right now. Okay. You won't be able to do that because you're a human being and it's very difficult to monitor everything. Okay. I would stick to one and just trade it. Okay. And that could be Forex as well. So when we look at Forex, it's the same sort of thing. With Forex, I think the latest trade was a US dollar Japanese yen. I can't remember. Yeah, there we go. Okay, full confluence here. There we go. What this is actually is AI learning from the manager that this was. It identified that there was, in fact, a retracement of more than 50%. So it's learning at the moment. Why do I have two RCs? Okay, so this is for me. I use this one here. It's the same time frames and everything, but what I do is I'm looking for the cross because sometimes the cross can be very close. So I'll draw when we're drawing, and I'm teaching the team to do this, is if we just go to current time, was there a signal to come down? No, there was a. So when we're drawing this line here, for example, again, this is all and I'm going to go green because it's going long. I need a darker green because it's on a white background. And I see, so the first thing I want to do is I want to see when it crosses. Sometimes it's not that obvious. So I use this for my cross there. Okay. That's hashed, different and then I sync in layout. Then I sync in layout. Because sometimes they overlay slightly, okay? And then what I'm looking for is my xBrat algo. There. Turn that to purple. There we go. Okay, so I'm starting to build a picture of confluence. Now, so this first one happens at 0113. This happens at 0330. My rule for a 23-minute, anything over 20 minutes is 3 hours. So if I don't get the VWAP predator before 4:13 a.m., no trade. Let's go back to the VWAP predator. What are we? Oh, so that's June the 3rd. Gone too far. June the 3rd. Okay. So I do get a VWAP predator at this point here, but it's before my last one. I'm going to put the VWAP predator in. I'm going to sync in layout, and then I'm going to go to the VWAP predator, to the bias depth heat map. We're only 4 out of 6. Okay. No good. No bueno. That's my last bit of confluence that I need. So I don't take the trade. I only take the trade when all the stars are aligned, like this one here. Okay. So it's just for ease of drawing lines as we're testing. Okay. And we get those, I think I showed you on that other chart, that purple rectangle coming up. It comes on this top chart for the bottom chart for the manager. So yeah, it's getting quite complicated, but that's what I do, and that's what we're working on at the moment. Okay, so we're coming up to the top of the hour, guys. Have you got any more questions on confluence, roller coaster, finding the groove? I mean, US dollar, Japanese yen on the roller coaster, 23 minutes. Who's ever traded a 23-minute time frame before? Look at the groove. And it's not just one-offs. Every time you see a winner on the roller coaster, in this red line, it's a winner. This is not a one-off. This is in the groove right now. 23-minute on your US dollar, Japanese yen. Don't know how long it's going to last. You can see, though, it is a really good groove for the roller coaster. Thank you, Richard. I'm going to get going because it's 9 p.m. here and I need to relax and come away from screens before I go to bed. So Sophia will only, I don't know how Sophia is going to work at the moment. We're still building it. Sophia will only really work with NinjaTrader ASBs. That's what designed for. We're 45% through that project. So the conduit is finished, and then William next week will be starting on the modules for machine learning and everything else. Okay, thanks, guys. Don't forget to check out the website, the products on that link in the chat. On the new website, we have some great tools in there. Confluence Trading Bundle is phenomenal and basically gets you into trades like these. Yeah, whether it's Forex, futures, stocks, or crypto. So I'll see you all next month. And for most of you in the Discord group, I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.